The Silent Habits of Highly Successful People is not just a title but a philosophy, a blueprint that draws attention to the unnoticed details of life, those quiet practices that shape the character of extraordinary individuals who rise beyond the ordinary. This chapter, like the book itself, is the cocker, the foundational sketch of what defines success beyond glamour, noise, and applause. It is the map of the hidden pathways that successful people walk, often unseen by the crowd, yet always present in the results they create. At the heart of it lies an understanding success is not the product of a single grand act, but the consequence of a series of silent, consistent choices repeated over time, without expectation of recognition, without the need for validation. Chapter 1. Success begins with awareness, an understanding that life is not shaped by luck or circumstance, but by the accumulation of daily choices, no matter how small. And the first silent habit of highly successful people is the ability to notice patterns, reflect on their behavior, and take full responsibility for every decision and action without blaming external circumstances or other people. They wake each day with intention, recognizing that every morning offers a fresh opportunity to align thoughts, actions, and priorities with long-term goals, and they deliberately structure their routines to ensure that each moment serves a purpose, creating a rhythm of quality that becomes second nature over time. Early mornings are often their most sacred hours, a time when the world is quiet, distractions are minimal, and the mind is most receptive to focus, reflection, and strategic planning. During this time, they invest in themselves through reading, meditation, journaling, or goal setting, understanding that these practices sharpen the mind, clarify vision, and build the foundation for the day ahead. They cultivate mindfulness, allowing themselves to pause and observe their thoughts and emotions, recognizing that awareness is the first to self-mastery and that, without understanding the inner world, no amount of external effort can create lasting results. Highly successful people also embrace the habit of setting clear intentions, defining not only what they wish to achieve, but why it matters, because purpose transforms action from mechanical effort into meaningful progress, fueling motivation even when challenges arise. They are deeply aware of the power of focus and the dangers of distraction, so they actively eliminate unnecessary inputs. Social media noise, meaningless meetings, or idle gossip that dilute attention and fragment energy. They understand that the mind is finite and that mental clarity is a resource to be guarded and invested wisely. In addition, they practice deliberate prioritization, identifying high-impact tasks that move them closer to their goals and consciously resisting the temptation to chase low-value activities that offer immediate gratification but little long-term benefit. This prioritization extends beyond professional goals into personal habits, health, relationships, and emotional management, creating harmony across all areas of life and preventing imbalance from undermining success. Listening is another critical habit developed silently yet powerfully, as highly successful individuals recognize that wisdom is gained more from observation and reflection than from speaking, and they cultivate the ability to absorb insights from people, situations, and experiences without the need to constantly assert themselves or prove their intelligence. Patience accompanies this listening, allowing them to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, understanding that measured responses often yield greater influence and results than immediate action driven by emotion. Another foundational habit is humility, an internal awareness of one's strengths and weaknesses, which enables learning, growth, and collaboration. For highly successful people know that arrogance closes doors while humility opens them, allowing them to adapt, seek guidance, and continuously improve. They embrace failure as feedback, analyzing mistakes without judgment, extracting lessons silently, and applying these insights to refine strategies and prevent repetition of the same errors. Consistency is the cornerstone of all these practices. For small, repeated actions, whether investing in skill building, nurturing relationships, or maintaining health, compound over time to produce extraordinary outcomes that appear effortless to outsiders, but are the product of deliberate daily effort. Highly successful people also cultivate self-discipline, resisting impulses that detract from their long-term objectives, delaying gratification when necessary, and maintaining focus even when motivation wanes, understanding that discipline bridges the gap between potential and achievement. Reflection is regularly practiced, often at the end of the day, as they review progress, acknowledge accomplishments, identify areas for improvement, and recalibrate priorities, creating a continuous feedback loop that drives growth and prevents stagnation. Gratitude is woven into their mindset, silently acknowledging the opportunities, support, and resources that make progress possible, fostering optimism and resilience even in challenging times. They are attentive to the details that others overlook, recognizing that excellence lies not only in grand gestures, but in the refinement of habits, processes, and interactions that accumulate over time. The habit of awareness extends to their environment as they consciously design spaces that support focus, creativity, and well-being, eliminating clutter, distractions, and toxic influences that could undermine performance. In relationships, they exercise empathy and attentiveness, quietly observing and understanding others' needs and perspectives, building trust and influence without the need for force or dominance. Time management is approached as a disciplined practice, with deliberate allocation of hours to tasks that align with goals, understanding that wasted minutes cannot be reclaimed and that efficiency amplifies the impact of effort. Highly successful lethal applies the importance of energy management, knowing that physical and mental vitality are essential for sustained performance, so they prioritize sleep, exercise, nutrition, and mental care as integral components of their success strategy. The first habit, awareness, therefore encompasses a holistic approach to life, integrating mind, body, and environment into a coherent system designed for growth, resilience, and achievement. It is cultivated silently, practiced consistently, and reinforced by reflection, discipline, and intentionality, forming the foundation upon which all other habits of success are built. This awareness is not merely cognitive, but deeply embodied, guiding decisions, shaping behavior, and aligning each moment with purpose and vision, ensuring that highly successful individuals operate from a position of clarity, focus, and deliberate action, quietly constructing lives of impact, fulfillment, and enduring achievement. Habit 2. Focus is the second silent habit of highly successful people, a discipline that allows them to channel their energy, attention, and effort toward the tasks and objectives that truly matter, while consciously resisting the endless distractions, interruptions, and trivialities that fill daily life. Understanding that the ability to concentrate deeply is far more valuable than scattered effort or fleeting multitasking. Highly successful individuals recognize that attention is a finite resource, and therefore they guard it fiercely, creating environments, routines, and practices that protect their mental clarity and allow them to operate at peak effectiveness. They begin by prioritizing their most important tasks each day, often identifying the one or two actions that will have the greatest impact on their long-term goals, and then committing uninterrupted blocks of time to complete them, understanding that deep focus produces results exponentially greater than shallow or fragmented work. Early mornings, quiet hours, and uninterrupted stretches of work become sacred, providing them with the space to plan, think, and act strategically without the constant pull of external noise or obligations that drain energy and fragment attention. They also cultivate the ability to resist temptation, whether in the form of social media, idle gossip, unnecessary emails, or even overcommitment, recognizing that every diversion steals mental bandwidth and reduces the quality of their output. This habit of focus is reinforced by deliberate planning, where they map out tasks, deadlines, and priorities, ensuring that their actions are guided by intention rather than reaction, and they revisit these plans regularly to maintain alignment with broader objectives. Equally important is the ability to practice single tasking in a world obsessed with multitasking, understanding that the human mind is not optimized for constant switching between activities, and that the deepest insights, highest creativity, and most efficient performance emerge when attention is devoted fully to one task at a time. They use strategies such as time blocking, the elimination of unnecessary meetings, and the creation of distraction-free work zones to support sustained focus, and they integrate short, restorative breaks to maintain energy, clarity, and cognitive sharpness throughout the day. Highly successful people also recognize the power of mindfulness and presence, intentionally directing attention to the current activity, thought, or conversation, rather than allowing the mind to wander to past regrets or future worries. Because true focus is rooted in awareness of the moment and deliberate engagement with it. They cultivate mental resilience, training themselves to return attention to priorities when it inevitably drifts, understanding that focus is a muscle that strengthens with consistent exercise and conscious effort. Emotional regulation also supports focus as they manage impulses, frustrations, and anxieties quietly, preventing these internal disturbances from undermining concentration, and they embrace the value of delayed gratification, knowing that resisting immediate distractions produces far greater rewards over time. In addition, they are strategic in the way they consume information, filtering news, content, and interactions so that their mental energy is invested in knowledge, experiences, and relationships that directly support their growth, goals, and vision, rather than being squandered on irrelevant stimuli. They measure and monitor their progress, evaluating how effectively their time and attention are being applied, adjusting habits and routines as necessary to maximize efficiency and ensure alignment with objectives. Focus extends beyond professional pursuits to personal growth, health, and relationships, as highly successful individuals understand that scattered attention in one area of life inevitably diminishes results in another, and they integrate habits that strengthen concentration across all dimensions, creating harmony, balance, and momentum. They also develop patience, understanding that sustained focus over time yields results that are often invisible in the short term, but compounding and transformative in the long term, and they resist the temptation to chase immediate success or recognition, knowing that deep work produces enduring impact. The habit of focus is practiced silently, consistently, and deliberately, often unnoticed by others, yet it is the engine behind extraordinary productivity, creativity, and achievement, allowing highly successful people to accomplish more in less time while maintaining clarity, quality, and purpose. It is supported by reflection, where they review completed work, identify distractions, and refine strategies to continually improve attention management, ensuring that each day builds upon the last in alignment with overarching goals. Focus also manifests in their ability to listen deeply, engage meaningfully, and act decisively, because a concentrated mind perceives patterns, solutions, and opportunities that scattered attention misses. In essence, the silent habit of focus is a cornerstone of success, providing the structure, discipline, and clarity necessary to navigate complex challenges, maintain consistent progress, and achieve outcomes that seem extraordinary to the casual observer, yet are the natural result of deliberate, concentrated effort applied consistently over time. Through this mastery of attention, highly successful people create lives of purpose, productivity, and profound impact, demonstrating that while talent and opportunity play a role, it is the quiet, disciplined habit of focus that amplifies effort into extraordinary achievement and transforms potential into tangible, lasting results. Chapter 3, the habit of reading and lifelong learning, is a cornerstone of the silent practices of highly successful people, a habit that sets them apart from the majority who settle for surface level knowledge or the opinions of others, and it begins with the recognition that the mind, like a muscle, requires consistent nourishment, challenge, and exercise to grow and perform at its highest capacity. Highly successful individuals dedicate time each day to reading, exploring books, articles, research, and resources that expand their understanding of the world, sharpen their thinking, and provide practical insights that can be applied to both personal and professional life. Their reading is deliberate and purposeful. They seek out material that stretches their perspective, challenges assumptions, and provides actionable knowledge. Rather than passively consuming information for entertainment alone, they understand that the accumulation of knowledge over time compounds like interest in a bank account, producing exponential benefits that manifest in decision-making, creativity, problem-solving, and leadership, and they treat every opportunity to learn as an investment in themselves and their future. Beyond books, they engage in observation, listening carefully to people, analyzing trends, studying behaviors, and reflecting on events, understanding that every experience contains lessons if approached with curiosity and attention. Lifelong learning requires humility, as they acknowledge that no matter how accomplished they may be, there is always more to understand, discover, and master, and this mindset drives them to continually seek improvement, growth, and adaptability in a rapidly changing world. They often maintain a diverse reading portfolio, blending practical skills, psychology, history, philosophy, and biographies of remarkable individuals, understanding that knowledge from one domain can be applied creatively in another, producing insights that others miss. Reflection amplifies learning, as they do not merely absorb information but take time to process, question, and integrate it into their own understanding, creating mental frameworks that guide action and enhance judgment. They practice critical thinking, evaluating sources, analyzing arguments, and distinguishing between valuable insights and superficial knowledge, ensuring that their learning translates into informed decisions and effective strategies. Highly successful people also share knowledge selectively, teaching or mentoring others in ways that reinforce their own understanding, strengthen relationships, and contribute to a culture of growth, all while remaining grounded in humility and avoiding the trap of arrogance or overconfidence. They embrace curiosity as a daily habit, asking questions, exploring new ideas, and remaining open to perspectives that differ from their own, recognizing that innovation, creativity, and problem-solving are fueled by a mind that is both informed and flexible. Learning is practiced in silence, often during early morning hours, late evenings, or moments of solitude when the mind is calm, focused, and most receptive to absorbing complex ideas, allowing for deep comprehension rather than superficial skimming. They integrate their learning into daily life through application, experimentation, and disciplined practice, ensuring that knowledge moves from theory into tangible results, and they remain patient with the process, understanding that mastery takes time, repetition, and persistence. The habit of reading is complemented by continuous skill development, as they recognize that knowledge without application has limited value, and they actively seek opportunities to translate insights into action, whether through projects, problem-solving, innovation, or leadership. They also cultivate discernment, understanding that not all information is equally valuable, and they selectively invest time in sources, experiences, and relationships that provide the highest return on mental and emotional energy. By combining curiosity, critical thinking, reflection, and application, highly successful people create a self-reinforcing cycle of learning and growth that continually elevates their capabilities, expands opportunities, and enhances resilience in the face of challenges. This habit allows them to anticipate trends, identify opportunities before others do, and make informed, confident decisions that others might overlook due to lack of knowledge or understanding. Furthermore, the practice of learning quietly cultivates patience, humility, and a sense of purpose, reminding them that true expertise and insight are built gradually through sustained effort and consistent engagement with ideas. In essence, the silent habit of reading and lifelong learning, CHTR for reflection, is a profound silent habit of highly successful people, a practice that allows them to pause, evaluate, and understand their actions, thoughts, and decisions in a way that continuously refines their path toward achievement, and it begins with the acknowledgement that experience alone does not guarantee growth unless it is carefully examined and learned from. Highly successful individuals dedicate time each day, often in moments of solitude, to look inward and assess their progress, asking themselves questions such as what went well, what could have been done differently, and whether their actions align with their long-term goals and values. This habit requires honesty, courage, and self-awareness, as it involves acknowledging mistakes without self-judgment and celebrating victories without arrogance, recognizing that both success and failure provide invaluable lessons when approached with clarity and objectivity. Reflection is not limited to past actions. It also includes the careful consideration of current circumstances and future possibilities, allowing individuals to anticipate challenges, identify opportunities, and make informed, strategic decisions that maximize effectiveness and minimize unnecessary effort or error. Highly successful people integrate reflection into their daily routines, often combining it with journaling, meditation, or quiet contemplation, creating a mental space where insights emerge naturally, patterns become visible, and innovative solutions are conceived. Through this practice, they develop patience, understanding that progress is rarely linear and that setbacks are not indicators of failure, but opportunities for learning, adaptation, and growth, reinforcing resilience and perseverance over time. Reflection also enhances emotional intelligence, enabling individuals to recognize and regulate their own emotions while empathizing with the feelings and perspectives of others, improving relationships, communication, and influence. By reviewing interactions, decisions, and outcomes, they gain a clearer understanding of personal strengths and weaknesses, allowing them to leverage their abilities effectively while addressing areas that require improvement, creating a continuous cycle of self-improvement that compounds over time. Highly successful people also use reflection to clarify their purpose, values, and vision, ensuring that daily actions are aligned with what truly matters, rather than being driven by external pressures, fleeting trends, or societal expectations, and this alignment fosters fulfillment, motivation, and sustained engagement with their goals. Reflection enables better prioritization, helping them focus on high-impact activities while avoiding distractions or low-value tasks, and it encourages strategic thinking, allowing them to plan several steps ahead and respond to challenges with composure and foresight. The habit of reflection strengthens decision-making, as it provides a framework for analyzing options, anticipating consequences, and choosing paths that are consistent with long-term objectives rather than immediate impulses or emotional reactions. It also cultivates humility, as highly successful people recognize that they do not have all the answers, that mistakes are inevitable, and that learning from experience is essential for continued growth, and this humility fosters openness to new ideas, constructive feedback, and collaboration with others. Reflection deepens self-awareness, revealing not only behavioral patterns, but also mental and emotional tendencies, biases, and limiting beliefs that may unconsciously influence actions. And by bringing these elements into conscious awareness, individuals gain control over them, transforming weaknesses into strengths and challenges into opportunities. Additionally, reflection supports innovation and creativity, as it allows the mind to step back from routine tasks, connect disparate ideas, and explore alternative perspectives without pressure or distraction, often leading to breakthroughs that are invisible to those who act without pause. Highly successful people view reflection as an ongoing dialogue with themselves, a private practice that builds clarity, alignment, and intentionality, guiding them to act with precision and confidence, while avoiding unnecessary repetition of mistakes or wasted effort. The habit is cultivated quietly and consistently, often unnoticed by others, yet it has profound effects on personal growth, productivity, and long-term achievement, as the insights gained through reflection inform strategies, refine processes, and enhance judgment in every area of life. In essence, reflection is the lens through which highly successful people examine the past, interpret the present, and shape the future, providing the clarity, insight, and foresight necessary to navigate complexity, make deliberate choices, and sustain momentum toward meaningful goals. By committing to this silent habit daily, they transform ordinary experiences into powerful lessons, ordinary actions into deliberate progress, and ordinary challenges into stepping stones toward extraordinary achievement, demonstrating that true success is not merely a result of action, but a product of thoughtful consideration, learning, and continuous refinement of the self. And through reflection, they cultivate the wisdom, resilience, and intentionality that define highly successful lives and ensure enduring impact in every sphere they touch. CHPTR5 Time management is one of the most critical silent habits of highly successful people, a practice that allows them to maximize productivity, maintain balance, and achieve their goals efficiently. And it begins with the understanding that time is the most finite and valuable resource each person possesses, one that cannot be earned back once it is lost, wasted, or misused. Highly successful individuals approach each day with deliberate intention, carefully planning how they will allocate their hours, minutes, and even seconds to ensure that every action contributes meaningfully to their long-term objectives, understanding that even small amounts of wasted time compound into significant loss over weeks, months, and years. They prioritize tasks based on impact rather than urgency, focusing on high-value activities that move them closer to their vision, while avoiding the trap of busyness for the sake of appearing productive. And they consistently evaluate the return on the time invested in each endeavor. Early mornings and dedicated blocks of uninterrupted work are often sacred, allowing them to tackle their most challenging or important tasks when mental clarity and focus are at their peak, free from distractions and competing demands. They utilize strategies such as time blocking to assign specific hours for focused work, planning, reflection, and even rest, and they incorporate routines that minimize decision fatigue, creating a structured rhythm that supports sustained productivity while preserving energy and mental clarity. Highly successful people also learn the art of delegation, understanding that trying to do everything personally is inefficient and counterproductive, and they assign tasks strategically to others whose skills and expertise complement their own, freeing up time for activities that require their unique attention and insight. They are vigilant against interruptions and distractions, whether digital notifications, unnecessary meetings, or social obligations that do not align with their priorities, and they establish boundaries to protect their focus, often saying no politely but firmly to activities that consume time without providing meaningful returns. Equally, they recognize the importance of breaks, rest, and recovery, understanding that sustained effort without replenishment leads to burnout, diminished creativity, and reduced effectiveness, and they schedule moments of pause to recharge both mind and body, ensuring that energy is available for the tasks that truly matter. Planning is not limited to daily tasks but extends to weekly, monthly, and even yearly objectives, creating a roadmap that aligns short-term actions with long-term vision, allowing for proactive decisions rather than reactive responses to circumstances. They also track progress meticulously, reviewing how time was spent, identifying inefficiencies, and continuously refining systems to improve productivity and alignment with goals. creating a cycle of reflection and adjustment that ensures ongoing improvement. Highly successful people understand that time management is deeply connected to self-discipline, requiring the ability to resist impulsive behaviors, delay gratification, and maintain focus on priorities even when distractions or temptations arise. They approach time as an investment, recognizing that careful allocation and disciplined use yield returns not only in productivity and achievement, but also in personal growth, relationships, and overall well-being. Attention to time management also extends to communication, as they streamline interactions and prepare agendas and ensure that conversations are efficient, purposeful, and result-oriented, avoiding wasted hours on unproductive exchanges. They integrate technology and tools strategically, using calendars, reminders, and project management systems to maintain organization without becoming enslaved by them, leveraging these resources to create efficiency while preserving mental clarity and focus. Equally, they balance personal development, health, and relationships, understanding that neglecting any domain can create imbalance and reduce overall effectiveness, and they allocate time intentionally to ensure holistic progress and fulfillment. Their mastery of time management is silent because it is practiced consistently without need for external recognition, yet its impact is profound, as it allows them to accomplish far more than peers with similar abilities, translating discipline and structure into results that often seem effortless. They are constantly aware that every moment carries potential, and they treat time as a precious commodity, measuring its use, reflecting on its value, and adjusting strategies to maximize both efficiency and effectiveness. In essence, the habit of time management encompasses planning, prioritization, focus, energy management, delegation, and strategic reflection, creating a framework that supports not only the achievement of goals, but also sustained growth, resilience, and fulfillment across all areas of life. By mastering this silent habit, highly successful people ensure that their actions are deliberate, their progress is consistent, and their results are magnified, demonstrating that the careful, intentional, and disciplined management of time is one of the most powerful tools available for transforming potential into extraordinary achievement, and that those who respect and harness the value of time ultimately shape lives of purpose, impact, and lasting success. Sechta 6. The habit of emotional lasui is a fundamental silent practice of highly successful people, a discipline that allows them to navigate the complexities of life with clarity, composure, and strategic intent, understanding that uncontrolled emotions can cloud judgment, lead to impulsive decisions, and undermine both personal and professional success, and that the ability to observe, regulate, and direct emotional responses is a skill cultivated through consistent self-awareness and reflection. Highly successful individuals recognize that emotions are neither good nor bad in themselves, but they are signals that must be acknowledged, processed, and channeled constructively rather than allowed to dictate behavior, and they develop the capacity to pause before reacting, creating space to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. They practice mindfulness, meditation, and other reflective exercises that strengthen emotional resilience, allowing them to remain calm under pressure, maintain focus during challenges, and respond to adversity with balanced judgment rather than frustration or fear. Emotional mastery also involves understanding the sources of one's feelings, identifying triggers, and developing strategies to manage them effectively, which may include reframing situations, adjusting expectations, or seeking constructive outlets for stress and tension. Highly successful people embrace patience, recognizing that immediate reactions are often counterproductive, and they cultivate the ability to wait, observe, and act with deliberation, understanding that long-term results are rarely achieved through hasty or emotionally driven actions. They also exercise empathy, perceiving and interpreting the emotions of others accurately, which allows them to communicate more effectively, build stronger relationships, and influence others positively without coercion or manipulation, creating environments of trust, collaboration, and respect. Emotional mastery extends to handling criticism and praise with equanimity, allowing individuals to learn from feedback without taking it personally or becoming complacent due to flattery, and they maintain self-confidence rooted in competence, preparation, and internal values rather than external validation or approval. Highly successful people recognize the interplay between emotions and decision-making, ensuring that their choices are guided by reason, evidence, and strategic thinking, while emotions are acknowledged and managed in a way that supports, rather than undermines, objectives. They practice resilience, understanding that setbacks, failures, and disappointments are inevitable, and they use emotional regulation to recover quickly, maintaining motivation, focus, and optimism in the face of challenges, and viewing difficulties as opportunities for growth and learning. Emotional mastery also encompasses the management of internal narratives, where highly successful individuals lull to self-talk, replace limiting beliefs with empowering perspectives, and maintain a mindset aligned with goals and values, recognizing that unchecked negative thoughts can sabotage effort and erode confidence over time. They cultivate gratitude and positivity as a means of emotional reinforcement, allowing appreciation, satisfaction, and optimism to influence mood, motivation, and interpersonal interactions, which in turn enhances productivity, creativity, and resilience. Highly successful people integrate emotional mastery with other silent habits, such as reflection, focus, and time management, creating a holistic system in which emotional regulation enhances clarity, decision-making, and performance, while discipline in other areas supports stability and balance. They are deliberate in their interactions, choosing words, tone, and body language that convey composure, respect, and authority, ensuring that emotions serve as a tool for connection, influence, and leadership rather than as a source of conflict or distraction. They also recognize the importance of physical well-being in supporting emotional regulation, as sleep, nutrition, exercise, and rest directly influence mood, energy levels, and resilience, and they proactively manage these factors to maintain optimal emotional balance. The habit of emotional mastery is practiced silently, consistently, and privately, often unnoticed by others, yet it produces profound effects on performance, relationships, and decision-making, enabling highly successful people to operate effectively in high-pressure situations, maintain clear priorities, and sustain long-term achievement without being derailed by stress, frustration, or impulsivity. In essence, emotional mastery is the silent engine that fuels rational action, strategic thinking, and effective leadership, providing the stability, awareness, and resilience necessary to navigate life's complexities, influence others positively, and achieve meaningful, lasting success. And through this disciplined practice, highly successful individuals transform potential emotional turbulence into strength, focus, and opportunity, demonstrating that the control of one's inner world is as critical, if not more so, than the management of external circumstances in the pursuit of extraordinary achievement. CPTR7 networking and relationship building is a subtle yet powerful silent habit of highly successful people, a practice that underpins much of their influence, opportunities, and long-term achievement, and it begins with the understanding that relationships are cultivated through authenticity, trust, and consistent effort rather than superficial charm, opportunistic interactions, or transactional behavior. Highly successful individuals recognize that the quality of their connections often determines the breadth and depth of opportunities available to them, and they invest time, energy, and attention into building meaningful, mutually beneficial relationships that endure over time, creating networks grounded in respect, integrity, and reliability. They approach every interaction with intentionality, listening attentively, asking thoughtful questions, and seeking to understand the needs, motivations, and perspectives of others, understanding that genuine curiosity and empathy are far more powerful than self-promotion in establishing trust and rapport. Relationship building for them is not driven by short-term gain or recognition, but by a long-term vision of mutual growth, support, and influence, and they quietly nurture connections over weeks, months, and years, recognizing that strong relationships are built on patience, consistency, and sincerity rather than sudden gestures or forced proximity. Highly successful people also exercise discretion and discernment in selecting the individuals with whom they invest their time, seeking relationships with people who share aligned values, ambitions, or complementary skills, while avoiding negative influences, toxic behaviors, or energy-draining associations that could hinder progress or compromise integrity. They understand the power of giving before receiving, offering support, guidance, mentorship, and resources to others without expectation of immediate return, knowing that generosity, reliability, and service build deep trust and create opportunities that are often invisible to those who focus solely on self-interest. Networking is approached strategically yet quietly, as they attend events, engage in communities, and seek collaborative opportunities that align with long-term objectives, but they do so with authenticity rather than overt self-promotion, allowing their character, expertise, and value to attract attention naturally over time. Highly successful people also recognize the importance of maintaining connections, following up consistently, showing appreciation, and celebrating others' achievements, understanding that relationships thrive on attention, respect, and reciprocity, and that neglecting these small gestures can erode trust and goodwill. Emotional intelligence plays a critical role in relationship building, enabling them to navigate complex social dynamics, resolve conflicts calmly, and influence others through understanding and empathy rather than manipulation or coercion, creating environments of cooperation, alignment, and shared purpose. They also practice humility in interactions, avoiding arrogance, entitlement, or the need to dominate conversations, recognizing that genuine respect and listening create far more lasting impressions than attempts to impress, and they allow relationships to develop organically over time, trusting that consistency, integrity, and competence will be noticed and valued. Networking extends beyond personal gain to include mentoring, coaching, and sharing knowledge with others, as highly successful individuals understand that contributing to the growth and success of others strengthens relationships, builds reputations, and establishes a network of allies who can provide support, guidance, and collaboration when needed. Technology and communication tools are leveraged strategically, enabling them to maintain connections across distances without overwhelming themselves, using emails, messages, calls, and social media selectively to nurture relationships while preserving focus and energy for high-impact interactions. They are also mindful of the energy exchange in relationships, ensuring that interactions are balanced, respectful, and constructive, and they disengage from connections that consistently drain energy or create unnecessary stress, understanding that boundaries are essential for sustainable influence and personal well-being. Highly successful people integrate the habit of networking with other silent habits, such as emotional mastery, reflection, and focus, ensuring that every relationship is approached thoughtfully, interactions are guided by purpose, and influence is simply effectively. They understand that relationships are not static but require ongoing attention, empathy, and adaptation, and they continuously refine their approach based on observation, feedback, and experience, creating networks that are resilient, resourceful, and mutually beneficial. In essence, the habit of networking and relationship building is a quiet yet strategic practice that amplifies success by creating access to knowledge, opportunities, support, and influence, and through consistent, authentic, and thoughtful engagement with others. Highly successful people expand their impact, reinforce their values, and cultivate environments in which collaboration, trust, and growth flourish naturally. This silent mastery of relationships allows them to navigate complex social and professional landscapes with confidence and grace, transforming connections into enduring partnerships, alliances, and friendships that serve as both a foundation and a catalyst for continued achievement, demonstrating that the cultivation of meaningful human connections is not only a powerful tool for success, but also a defining characteristic of those who achieve lasting influence and impact in every sphere of life. Chapter 8 Health and vitality form a silent yet indispensable habit of highly successful people, a practice that underpins every other aspect of achievement, productivity, and resilience. And it begins with the recognition that the body is the vehicle through which all ambitions are pursued, and without energy, strength, and wellness, even the most brilliant strategies, focused attention, and disciplined routines cannot be executed effectively. Highly successful individuals approach health not as a temporary goal or aesthetic pursuit, but as a lifelong investment, understanding that consistent habits in nutrition, exercise, sleep, and recovery compound over time to create sustained energy, mental clarity, and emotional balance that directly support performance and decision-making. They prioritize physical activity as a non-negotiable part of daily life, engaging in exercises that enhance cardiovascular health, strength, flexibility, and endurance, often selecting routines that are both effective and enjoyable, ensuring adherence and long-term benefit rather than relying on sporadic, intense efforts that are difficult to maintain. Nutrition is approached with intentionality, focusing on fueling the body with high-quality, nutrient-dense foods that support sustained energy, cognitive function, and overall well-being, while minimizing processed foods, excess sugars, and habits that contribute to fatigue, inflammation, or chronic health issues. Sleep is treated as sacred, recognized as a critical component of physical recovery, mental consolidation, and emotional regulation, and highly successful people establish routines that prioritize sufficient, high-quality rest, often incorporating sleep schedules, reducing screen exposure before bed, and creating an environment conducive to deep, restorative sleep. They are attuned to the signals of their bodies and minds, listening carefully to signs of fatigue, stress, or imbalance, and they take proactive steps to address them before they escalate, whether through rest, mindfulness, relaxation techniques, or professional guidance. Stress management is a vital component of this habit, as highly successful individuals recognize that chronic stress undermines health, decision-making, and performance, and they implement less exposure, breathing exercises, nature exposure, or hobbies that provide mental rejuvenation and emotional release. Preventive care and regular check-ups are also part of their routine, reflecting a proactive approach to health that anticipates challenges rather than reacting to illness or injury after it occurs, ensuring longevity and sustained capacity to pursue goals. Hydration and moderation are practiced consistently, as they understand that small, daily choices regarding water intake, substance use, and lifestyle behaviors accumulate over time, significantly impacting energy levels, cognitive performance, and resilience. Highly successful people also understand the connection between physical health and mental clarity, recognizing that a strong, well-nourished and rested body supports sharper focus, better problem-solving, and enhanced creativity, allowing them to operate at their highest potential across professional, personal, and social spheres. Mental wellness is integrated seamlessly with physical health, including practices that cultivate mindfulness, emotional regulation, and cognitive resilience, ensuring that stress, anxiety, and emotional turbulence do not erode performance or decision-making capacity. They often combine all aspects into holistic routines, creating synergy between exercise, nutrition, rest, and mental care, understanding that excellence in one area reinforces the others, and that neglect in any domain can compromise overall effectiveness. Highly successful people also understand the importance of consistency over intensity, preferring sustainable habits that can be maintained daily rather than sporadic extreme efforts, as longevity in health practices is what produces cumulative benefits over years and decades. They approach their well-being with curiosity and learning, continually updating practices based on evidence, expert advice, and personal experience, reflecting the same commitment to growth and improvement that defines all other silent habits. Furthermore, they appreciate the social and motivational aspects of health, surrounding themselves with supportive communities, workout partners, or environments that reinforce positive choices and sustain accountability, enhancing both commitment and enjoyment. The habit of maintaining health and vitality is silent because it is a private discipline, rarely showcased but consistently evident in the energy, endurance, focus, and resilience that highly successful individuals display in every endeavor. In essence, the cultivation of physical and mental well-being provides the foundation upon which all other habits of success are built, allowing individuals to perform consistently, think clearly, act decisively, and navigate challenges with resilience and composure, demonstrating that extraordinary achievement is not merely a product of skill, knowledge, or strategy, but also the result of a disciplined commitment to maintaining the body and mind as powerful, capable instruments for pursuing life's highest goals. By integrating this silent habit into daily life, highly successful people ensure that they are not limited by fatigue, illness, or imbalance, but instead operate at optimal capacity, amplifying the impact of all other habits and creating a sustainable trajectory toward long-term success, fulfillment, and enduring influence. Chapter 9. Gratitude is a profound silent habit of highly successful people, a practice that subtly yet powerfully shapes mindset, perception, and daily behavior, allowing them to maintain perspective, resilience, and positivity even amidst challenges. And it begins with the understanding that what we focus on expands, and by intentionally acknowledging the positives, opportunities, and support present in life, one cultivates a mental environment that fosters growth, motivation, and fulfillment. Highly successful individuals integrate gratitude into their daily routines, often through reflection, journaling, or quiet acknowledgement of the people, experiences, and resources that contribute to their progress. Understanding that consistent recognition of these elements reinforces awareness of abundance rather than scarcity, and this shift in perception transforms both personal satisfaction and professional performance. They approach gratitude as a lens through which to interpret experiences, viewing obstacles not merely as setbacks, but as opportunities to learn, adapt, and grow, and they focus on the lessons, support, and resilience that emerge from challenges rather than dwelling solely on discomfort or loss. Highly successful people extend gratitude beyond themselves, consciously appreciating colleagues, mentors, family, friends, and even competitors, understanding that relationships are strengthened through acknowledgement, respect, and genuine recognition of others' contributions, and that expressing gratitude fosters loyalty, trust, and collaboration while creating a positive ripple effect in their environment. Gratitude is paired with humility as it encourages individuals to recognize the role of others, circumstances, and unseen forces in their achievements, preventing arrogance, entitlement, or complacency, and reinforcing a mindset oriented toward learning, contribution, and continuous improvement. They practice mindfulness in gratitude, fully engaging with the present moment and noticing the small, often overlooked blessings that comprise daily life, from supportive relationships and health to opportunities for growth and moments of beauty or inspiration. Understanding that this awareness cultivates a richer, more fulfilling experience of life. Highly successful individuals also use gratitude as a tool for emotional regulation, countering negative emotions, stress, or frustration with acknowledgement of what is working well, what has been achieved, and what remains possible, creating resilience that sustains focus, motivation, and mental clarity under pressure. Gratitude enhances perspective, enabling them to sequence without attachment to outcomes, appreciate incremental success, and recognize that personal growth and achievement are processes rather than singular events, fostering patience, perseverance, and sustained effort over time. The habit extends to strategic reflection, where highly successful people evaluate challenges and accomplishments with an eye for appreciation, identifying the support, lessons, and opportunities embedded in every experience, reinforcing a cycle of learning, humility, and motivation that propels them forward. They understand that gratitude is contagious, influencing organizational culture, team dynamics, and personal relationships, as recognition and appreciation inspire engagement, collaboration, and a positive environment, and that this silent practice often yields disproportionate benefits compared to visible or external efforts. Highly successful individuals also balance gratitude with ambition, using recognition of existing advantages and progress as a motivating force, rather than a reason for complacency, allowing acknowledgement of the present to fuel action toward future goals with clarity, determination, and focus. They practice gratitude privately and consistently, embedding it into habits that require no external validation, allowing it to influence character, decisions, and interpersonal interactions naturally and quietly, shaping behavior without fanfare or ostentation. Gratitude is woven into other silent habits, such as reflection, focus, emotional mastery, and relationship building, amplifying their effectiveness by maintaining a positive orientation, enhancing resilience, and strengthening social bonds, ultimately contributing to sustained achievement and fulfillment. Highly successful people also gratitude reinforces self-awareness, helping them identify the resources, skills, and choices that have contributed to progress, and aligning future actions with values, priorities, and opportunities in a conscious and intentional manner. They leverage gratitude as a mental framework for decision-making, enabling perspective that balances risk, reward, and consequence, ensuring that choices are informed not only by strategy and logic, but also by appreciation for context, opportunity, and existing support systems. The habit of gratitude, therefore, is not superficial politeness or occasional acknowledgement, but a deeply integrated practice that shapes perception, mindset, behavior, and outcomes in a way that magnifies success, strengthens relationships, and enhances resilience, providing the emotional and cognitive foundation necessary to pursue ambitious goals with clarity, integrity, and balance. In essence, through the consistent, silent practice of gratitude, highly successful people transform ordinary experiences into sources of insight, motivation, and connection, cultivating a mindset of abundance, optimism, and purposeful action that underlies every achievement, every strategic decision, and every meaningful interaction, demonstrating that the quiet recognition of what one has learned, and who has contributed to one's journey is as critical to enduring success as skill, knowledge, or effort. Chapter 10 Persistence is the 10th silent habit of highly successful people, a practice that defines their ability to overcome obstacles, endure setbacks, and consistently move toward their goals despite challenges, uncertainties, or failures, and it begins with the understanding that success is rarely instantaneous or linear, and that sustained effort over time is the true differentiator between those who achieve their aspirations and those who give up prematurely. Highly successful individuals cultivate an unwavering commitment to their vision, allowing determination, resilience, and grit to guide them through difficult periods, while maintaining clarity of purpose and alignment with long-term objectives, understanding that obstacles are inevitable but temporary, and that each challenge presents an opportunity to learn, adapt, and grow stronger. They approach persistence not as stubbornness or blind effort, but as strategic, disciplined action, combining consistent work with reflection, adjustment, and problem-solving, ensuring that every step forward is purposeful and informed. Even when progress appears slow or unseen, persistence is strengthened by patience, as highly successful people recognize that meaningful achievements often require sustained effort over months, years, or decades, and they resist the urge for immediate results or external validation, focusing instead on the process and incremental progress, trusting that consistent effort compounds into extraordinary outcomes. They develop resilience by embracing failure as feedback rather than defeat, analyzing mistakes, extracting lessons, and applying insights to refine strategies and improve performance, understanding that setbacks are natural components of growth, and that the ability to recover quickly and continue pursuing goals is more valuable than avoiding failure altogether. Highly successful people also cultivate mental toughness, maintaining focus, motivation, and energy even when faced with discouragement, fatigue, and/or external pressures, and they consciously manage thoughts, emotions, and beliefs to prevent doubt, frustration, or negativity from derailing effort, reinforcing a mindset oriented toward achievement, problem-solving, and forward momentum. They set clear, measurable goals that serve as guideposts for persistent effort, allowing progress to be tracked, celebrated, and adjusted as necessary, creating a structured framework that reinforces discipline, accountability, and motivation over time. Persistence is often practiced quietly, without fanfare, as highly successful people continue their work consistently while others may be distracted, discouraged, or inconsistent, and this silent dedication gradually builds competence, credibility, and results that distinguish them in their field. They also recognize the importance of incremental progress, understanding that small, consistent actions, repeated daily, produce outcomes far greater than occasional bursts of effort or sporadic commitment, and that the compounding effect of persistent action is often invisible in the short term, but transformative over time. Support systems and relationships play a role in sustaining persistence, as highly successful individuals seek mentors, allies, and communities that provide encouragement, guidance, and accountability, while also offering reciprocal support, recognizing that shared resilience and motivation amplify individual determination. Highly successful people integrate persistence with other silent habits, such as focus, time management, emotional mastery, and reflection, ensuring that effort is directed efficiently, strategically, and sustainably, and that challenges are approached with clarity, adaptability, and composure. They maintain a long-term perspective, avoiding the distraction of immediate gratification, trivial concerns, or short-term failures, and they measure success by progress toward meaningful, enduring goals rather than transient recognition or external approval. The habit of persistence also fosters confidence and courage, as individuals learn to trust their abilities, judgment, and resilience through repeated experience, reinforcing the belief that obstacles can be overcome and that consistent effort yields results even in complex, uncertain, or competitive environments. Highly successful people embrace challenges with curiosity and determination, viewing them not as barriers but as opportunities to demonstrate capability, innovation, and perseverance, and they remain committed to learning and growth throughout the process, understanding that each hurdle strengthens skill, knowledge, and character. In essence, persistence is the quiet engine that powers progress, turning vision into reality, potential into achievement, and effort into lasting impact, and through its disciplined practice, highly successful individuals transform adversity into opportunity, setbacks into lessons, and ordinary effort into extraordinary results, demonstrating that the ability to persist silently, consistently, and strategically is one of the most defining characteristics of enduring success, resilience, and fulfillment in life. CTER 11 Adaptability is the 11th silent habit of highly successful people, a skill that enables them to navigate change, uncertainty, and evolving circumstances with resilience, creativity, and strategic foresight, and it begins with the understanding that the world is constantly shifting, and rigid approaches, fixed mindsets, or resistance to change can undermine progress, limit opportunity, and create unnecessary struggle. Highly successful individuals cultivate the ability to remain flexible in thought, behavior, and strategy, adjusting plans, methods, and perspectives as conditions evolve while remaining anchored to core values, vision, and long-term objectives, ensuring that change becomes an opportunity rather than a threat. They approach challenges with curiosity and openness, seeking to understand the underlying dynamics, anticipate potential outcomes, and identify new pathways to success, recognizing that adaptability requires both awareness and a willingness to experiment, learn, and iterate continuously. Adaptability is strengthened by reflection, as highly successful people regularly assess past experiences, outcomes, and responses, learning what strategies work best under different conditions and integrating those insights into future action, creating a feedback loop that enhances both agility and judgment over time. Emotional resilience is closely tied to adaptability, as individuals must manage uncertainty, stress, and frustration without allowing these factors to derail focus, motivation, or decision-making, and they practice mindfulness, self-regulation, and perspective-shifting techniques to maintain composure, clarity, and optimism in the face of change. Highly successful people embrace learning as an essential component of adaptability, understanding that knowledge, skills, and insights must evolve alongside circumstances, and they actively seek new information, methods, and experiences that prepare them to respond effectively to unforeseen events or emerging opportunities. They cultivate creative problem-solving skills, exploring alternative approaches, solutions, and strategies when conventional methods are insufficient, and they remain open to input, collaboration, and innovation, recognizing that adaptability often requires leveraging the perspectives, expertise, and ideas of others to achieve optimal outcomes. Adaptable individuals also anticipate potential disruptions and prepare contingency plans, maintaining strategic flexibility that allows them to pivot without losing momentum, confidence, or alignment with long-term objectives, and they view obstacles as opportunities to refine methods, expand knowledge, and strengthen resilience. The habit of adaptability is reinforced by humility, as highly successful people acknowledge that they do not have all the answers, that circumstances may shift in unpredictable ways, and that the ability to adjust is essential for survival, growth, and sustained achievement. And this humility allows them to remain teachable, receptive, and open to change. They integrate adaptability with other silent habits, such as persistence, focus, reflection, and emotional mastery, ensuring that changes are approached strategically, efficiently, and effectively, and that agility is applied thoughtfully rather than impulsively. Highly successful individuals realize that adaptability does not mean abandoning goals or principles, but rather finding new pathways, strategies, and approaches that honor objectives while accommodating evolving realities, creating a balance between consistency and flexibility that maximizes results. They also leverage adaptability to seize opportunities quickly, identifying emerging trends, needs, or gaps, and positioning themselves to act decisively, demonstrating that the ability to adjust is not merely defensive, but also a proactive driver of growth, innovation, and competitive advantage. Adaptable individuals maintain a mindset of continuous improvement, seeing each change or challenge as an occasion to refine skills, expand capabilities, and strengthen resilience, and they avoid resistance driven by fear, ego, or habit, understanding that flexibility enhances both effectiveness and influence. This habit is often silent, practiced privately and consistently, yet it produces visible results in the form of sustained progress, resilience under pressure, and the ability to thrive in complex, dynamic environments, allowing highly successful people to remain effective, relevant, and influential even as circumstances evolve. In essence, adaptability is a quiet, strategic habit that transforms uncertainty into opportunity, challenges into growth, and disruption into innovation, demonstrating that the ability to bend without breaking, to pivot without losing direction, and to respond thoughtfully and creatively to change is one of the most defining characteristics of highly successful individuals, enabling them to navigate the currents of life with confidence, resourcefulness, and enduring impact, and ensuring that their progress, influence, and achievement remain resilient in the face of any challenge or shift in circumstance. CHPR 12 Self-discipline is the 12th silent habit of highly successful people, a practice that underpins every other habit and achievement, enabling individuals to act consistently in alignment with their goals, values, and long-term vision, even in the absence of immediate motivation, external pressure, or visible rewards. And it begins with the recognition that success is the result of repeated, intentional actions rather than sporadic bursts of effort or fleeting inspiration. Highly successful individuals cultivate the ability to regulate impulses, manage distractions, and maintain focus on what truly matters, understanding that every decision, whether minor or major, contributes to cumulative outcomes, and that small lapses in discipline can undermine progress over time, while consistent adherence to priorities produces compounding results that drive extraordinary achievement. They develop routines and habits that support structured, goal-oriented action, creating frameworks that minimize reliance on willpower alone, and they design their environments to reduce temptation, streamline decision-making, and reinforce positive behaviors, ensuring that discipline becomes second nature rather than a constant struggle. Self-discipline is practiced silently and privately, as these individuals adhere to their principles and schedules without seeking external validation or recognition, and the quiet consistency of their efforts produces results that distinguish them from those who act impulsively, reactively, or inconsistently. They also cultivate mental resilience, understanding that challenges, fatigue, and setbacks are inevitable, and they employ discipline to persist, adapt, and maintain effort even when circumstances are difficult, uncomfortable, or discouraging, ensuring that progress continues despite obstacles. Highly successful people integrate self-discipline with other silent habits, such as focus, time management, emotional mastery, and persistence, creating a holistic system in which disciplined action amplifies the impact of every decision, strengthens relationships, enhances learning, and supports health and well-being, producing sustained, meaningful results across all areas of life. They establish clear priorities, measurable goals, and structured plans that guide daily actions, and they hold themselves accountable for following through, reflecting regularly on performance, and adjusting strategies as needed to remain aligned with objectives, ensuring that discipline is purposeful and directed rather than rigid or arbitrary. Self-discipline extends beyond work and productivity to encompass lifestyle choices, habits, and personal development, as highly successful people understand that balance, health, learning, and relationships all require consistent, intentional effort, and that neglect in one area can diminish effectiveness in others. They practice delayed gratification, choosing long-term benefits over short-term pleasures, and they maintain focus on outcomes that matter most, resisting distractions, temptations, and impulsive decisions that could derail progress, knowing that the ability to postpone immediate satisfaction is a key differentiator in achieving extraordinary results. Highly successful individuals also use self-discipline to regulate emotions, thoughts, and behaviors, maintaining composure, integrity, and rational decision-making in challenging situations, ensuring that actions are consistent with principles and goals rather than driven by impulse, fear, or frustration, and they recognize that self-consistency reinforces credibility, trust, and influence with others. Reflection and mindfulness support self-discipline as these individuals continuously assess habits, routines, and performance, identifying areas where consistency can be improved, and they adjust strategies to overcome weaknesses, optimize routines, and maintain alignment with objectives, creating a feedback loop that strengthens discipline over time. They embrace accountability mechanisms, whether through mentors, peers, or self-monitoring, understanding that disciplined individuals are not perfect but consistently evaluate, correct, and recommit to their goals, allowing lapses to become learning opportunities rather than sources of discouragement. Highly successful people also recognize the relationship between discipline and motivation, understanding that reliance on fleeting inspiration is unreliable, and that a disciplined approach ensures sustained action regardless of emotional state, energy level, or external circumstances, transforming potential into tangible results consistently over time. In essence, self-discipline is the silent engine of achievement, enabling highly successful people to transform vision into reality, overcome adversity, and maintain consistent progress toward meaningful goals, demonstrating that talent, intelligence, or opportunity alone are insufficient without the structured, intentional, and persistent application of disciplined action, and that the quiet mastery of self-discipline underlies every significant accomplishment, influence, and enduring impact in life, creating a foundation upon which all other silent habits of success are built and amplified. CFTR 13 Focus is the 13th silent habit of highly successful people, a practice that allows them to channel their energy, attention, and resources toward the most meaningful tasks, decisions, and goals. And it begins with the understanding that the ability to concentrate on what truly matters is more valuable than sheer effort or business, as scattered attention dissipates energy and diminishes effectiveness, while sustained focus produces extraordinary results over time. Highly successful individuals cultivate the skill of focus by prioritizing their objectives clearly, identifying high-impact activities that align with their long-term vision, and deliberately eliminating distractions, multitasking, and low-value tasks that fragment attention and reduce productivity. Understanding that discipline in attention management is critical for turning intention into achievement. They create environments that support deep work, whether through quiet spaces, structured schedules, or technology management, ensuring that uninterrupted periods of concentration are available for tasks that require creativity, analysis, and strategic thinking, and they protect these periods from intrusion by emails, notifications, or external demands. Focus is practiced silently and consistently, as highly successful people do not rely on external validation or reminders to stay on track. Instead, they develop internal systems of accountability habits and mental discipline that maintain alignment with priorities, even when challenges or temptations arise. They employ techniques such as time blocking, goal segmentation, and progressive task management, breaking complex projects into manageable components and dedicating sustained attention to each component in sequence, avoiding the inefficiency and stress of attempting to juggle multiple objectives simultaneously. Highly successful individuals also recognize the importance of mental clarity and energy in sustaining focus, and they integrate practices such as mindfulness, reflection, and physical health routines to ensure that their cognitive and emotional resources remain optimal, allowing for prolonged periods of concentration without burnout or diminished performance. Focus is not limited to tasks but extends to decision-making, interactions, and long-term strategy as they prioritize attention on areas that generate the greatest impact, influence, and growth, and they resist the pull of distractions, trivialities, or unslay sins that do not advance core goals. Emotional regulation and self-discipline are critical to maintaining focus, as highly successful people manage impulses, anxiety, and stress, preventing these factors from diverting attention or reducing efficiency, and they cultivate resilience to maintain concentration even under pressure, uncertainty, or fatigue. They understand that focus is a skill strengthened by practice, reflection, and incremental improvement, and they continuously refine techniques to enhance attention, reduce cognitive clutter, and improve decision-making, integrating insights from experience, observation, and learning into more effective approaches. Highly successful individuals also leverage the power of selective attention, consciously choosing where to direct mental effort and energy, and they avoid the temptation to spread themselves too thin or become reactive to every stimulus, understanding that strategic focus results far more than scattered activity. Focus interacts synergistically with other silent habits, such as time management, self-discipline, reflection, persistence, and emotional mastery, creating a cohesive framework in which attention is aligned, effort is consistent, and results are magnified, allowing highly successful people to operate efficiently and effectively even in complex, high-pressure environments. They are mindful of both internal and external distractions, developing strategies to minimize interruptions, optimize workflows, and maintain momentum, and they recognize that protecting focus is an ongoing practice that requires vigilance, adjustment, and commitment over time. Highly successful individuals also apply focus to personal growth, relationships, and self-development, concentrating on learning, skill acquisition, and meaningful engagement rather than succumbing to trivial pursuits or passive consumption. And they measure progress based on clarity, achievement, and alignment rather than mere activity or business. In essence, focus is the silent engine that converts intention into accomplishment, knowledge into action, and potential into tangible results, enabling highly successful people to operate at peak performance, maintain consistency, and achieve extraordinary outcomes, demonstrating that mastery of attention is not a matter of chance, but a deliberate, disciplined, and ongoing practice, and that the ability to direct mental, emotional, and physical resources toward what truly matters is a defining characteristic of those who achieve lasting success, influence, and fulfillment in every aspect of life. KTR 14 Continuous learning is the 14th silent habit of highly successful people, a practice that fuels growth, innovation, and adaptability, allowing individuals to remain relevant, competent, and forward-thinking in an ever-changing world. And it begins with the recognition that knowledge, skills, and insights are not static commodities but dynamic resources that must be constantly expanded, refined, and applied, and that the pursuit of learning is not limited to formal education but extends to every experience, interaction, and observation encountered in life. Highly successful individuals approach learning with curiosity, humility, and intentionality, understanding that the willingness to explore new ideas, challenge assumptions, and embrace diverse perspectives strengthens both personal and professional development, and that continuous learning prevents stagnation, complacency, and the erosion of competitive advantage. They cultivate habits that integrate learning into daily routines, including reading, listening, observing, experimenting, and reflecting, ensuring that growth is consistent, cumulative, and applicable, rather than episodic or superficial, and they actively seek opportunities to acquire knowledge and skills from a variety of sources, including mentors, peers, experts, and real-world experiences. Continuous learning is reinforced by reflection, as highly successful people consistently evaluate what they know, what they have achieved, and where gaps exist, using insights from past experiences to refine strategies, enhance performance, and anticipate future challenges, creating a feedback loop that converts experience into wisdom, mistakes into lessons, and challenges into growth opportunities. They are highly self-aware, identifying both strengths to leverage and weaknesses to improve, and they set clear learning objectives aligned with long-term goals, ensuring that every educational pursuit serves a purpose beyond mere accumulation of information, and that knowledge translates into actionable competence, innovation, and influence. Highly successful individuals embrace both formal and informal learning, recognizing that structured education, professional development, and training are valuable, but that everyday experiences, failures, and interactions often provide equally powerful insights when approached with attention, openness, and analysis. They maintain a mindset of humility, understanding that no matter how accomplished they are, there is always more to learn, and they actively seek feedback, challenge their own assumptions, and remain open to correction, revision, and new perspectives, fostering intellectual thinking and creativity. Adaptability and continuous learning are deeply intertwined, as highly successful people use acquired knowledge to respond effectively to evolving circumstances, innovate solutions to complex problems, and anticipate opportunities and threats, demonstrating that learning is both a proactive and reactive skill that enhances resilience and strategic decision-making. They also view failures, setbacks, and criticisms as powerful learning tools, extracting lessons from every experience, adjusting approaches, and applying insights to future actions, ensuring that each challenge contributes to growth rather than discouragement. Highly successful individuals integrate learning with other silent habits, including reflection, focus, self-discipline, persistence, and emotional mastery, creating a holistic approach that amplifies understanding, enhances performance, and strengthens decision-making, ensuring that knowledge is not isolated, but actively contributes to overall achievement and personal evolution. They cultivate a love for reading, exploration, and intellectual engagement, recognizing that curiosity is the fuel for innovation, problem-solving, and creative thinking, and that continuous learning requires both a broad perspective and a deep dive into areas of specialization, balancing depth with balancing ability and opportunity. Time is intentionally allocated for learning, demonstrating that highly successful people prioritize the development of the mind with the same discipline, structure, and consistency that they apply to work health, relationships, and personal growth, ensuring that knowledge acquisition is sustainable and aligned with strategic objectives. Highly successful individuals also mentor, teach, and share knowledge, recognizing that teaching reinforces understanding, strengthens networks, and creates positive impact, and that contributing to the growth of others enhances both personal mastery and influence, making learning a collaborative and reciprocal process. In essence, continuous learning is a silent engine that propels growth, innovation, adaptability, and resilience, transforming experience into expertise, mistakes into lessons, and curiosity into achievement, allowing highly successful people to navigate complexity, embrace change, and capitalize on opportunity with confidence, competence, and insight, and demonstrating that the relentless pursuit of knowledge and understanding is a defining characteristic of those who achieve sustained success, influence, and fulfillment, creating a life of continuous improvement, meaningful impact, and extraordinary accomplishment. CHTR 15 Vision is the 15th and final silent habit of highly successful people, a guiding force that shapes decisions, actions, and priorities, providing clarity, direction, and purpose in every endeavor. And it begins with the understanding that without a clear and compelling vision, effort becomes fragmented, goals lack coherence, and progress is easily derailed by distractions, obstacles, or competing demands, while a strong vision aligns intention with action, creating a roadmap for sustained achievement and fulfillment. Highly successful individuals cultivate vision by reflecting deeply on their values, strengths, aspirations, and the impact they wish to have, crafting a vivid picture of the future they aim to create, and using this mental image as a reference point for daily choices, strategic decisions, and long-term planning, ensuring that every action contributes meaningfully to their ultimate objectives. Vision is not static but dynamic, evolving as individuals grow, learn, and encounter new opportunities or challenges, and highly successful people regularly reassess, refine, and articulate their vision to remain relevant, ambitious, and inspired, balancing flexibility with consistency to maintain alignment between evolving circumstances and enduring purpose. They integrate vision with goal setting, translating broad aspirations into specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound objectives that provide actionable steps and milestones, creating a tangible pathway from concept to realization and allowing progress to be monitored, celebrated, and adjusted as needed. Emotional engagement with vision is crucial, as highly successful individuals internalize their goals with passion, commitment, and belief, using the emotional resonance of their vision to sustain motivation, resilience, and persistence even in the face of setbacks, uncertainty, or fatigue, transforming abstract dreams into compelling reasons to act. Vision is paired with strategic thinking as they analyze the environment, anticipate challenges, identify opportunities, and align resources effectively, ensuring that actions are purposeful, informed, and directed toward meaningful outcomes rather than reactive or haphazard, and they use foresight to navigate complexity, minimize risk, and capitalize on emerging trends. Highly successful people also communicate their vision effectively, sharing it with teams, collaborators, mentors, and stakeholders in a way that inspires alignment, commitment, and collaboration, understanding that a clearly articulated vision unites effort, fosters accountability, and magnifies collective impact, while also serving as a filter for decisions, behaviors, and priorities. They balance ambition with realism, creating a vision that is both aspirational and attainable, stretching capabilities while remaining grounded in actionable strategies, and they embrace incremental progress, knowing that large-scale achievements are the result of consistent, focused effort aligned with the overarching vision over time. Reflection and continuous learning enhance vision, as they incorporate lessons from past experiences, feedback, and evolving knowledge to refine goals, adapt strategies, and strengthen clarity, ensuring that vision remains relevant, motivating, and aligned with both internal values and external realities. Vision also drives resilience and adaptability, providing a stable reference point that guides responses to setbacks, failures, or unexpected changes, allowing highly successful people to maintain focus, composure, and strategic intent even under pressure, and transforming challenges into opportunities to adjust approach without compromising the ultimate objective. They integrate vision with other silent habits, including focus, persistence, adaptability, continuous learning, and emotional mastery, creating a synergistic framework in which clarity of purpose enhances attention, decision-making, relationships, and overall performance, amplifying the impact of all other habits. Highly successful individuals understand that vision is both personal and relational, as it defines the legacy they seek to create, the influence they wish to exert, and the impact on the lives of others, and they align personal ambition with contributions to broader communities, industries, or causes, ensuring that success is meaningful, sustainable, and ethically grounded. The habit of vision is silent, cultivated privately yet expressed consistently through intentional actions, decisions, and behaviors that reflect long-term purpose, and its influence is evident in the coherence, direction, and effectiveness of highly successful individuals' lives, demonstrating that extraordinary achievement is rarely accidental but guided by a clear, compelling, and enduring mental image of the future. In essence, vision is the final silent habit that unifies, directs, and amplifies all other habits of success, transforming potential into results, ideas into action, and goals into reality, enabling highly successful people to navigate uncertainty, overcome obstacles, and create a life of impact, fulfillment, and extraordinary achievement, and demonstrating that the power to envision, commit to, and consistently act toward a purposeful future is the hallmark of those who achieve lasting influence, resilience, and success in every sphere of life.